That's fine with everyone, I guess. Anyone
Okay.
need recording for this? It is just a revision. Okay. Okay. Go on.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I have Texas as a class, and I'll create a superclass right now. It's gonna be state, and I'm gonna extend Texas. Let me close that. Texas extends state. Um, and I'm gonna define some attributes first. So for the state, I will define a string that's gonna have county, state has cities. Okay, I'm going to cities, and let's say Dallas. Yeah, Dallas, and I'm gonna put some population, integer population. That's gonna be, let's say, 1,000,000, and I'm gonna have a method. I'm gonna define the data type as string. Hold on. Public void string. No, public void tax. No. What should I name the method? Any suggestions? Tax collection. I'll put tax collection as the method. I'm gonna do the lowercase for that. And I'm just gonna put the sys out for now. State has their own tax rates. And for the subclass, okay, hold on. This is my, I'm gonna put these in my, okay, that's fine. I'm gonna put the same methods in my superclass, but then I'm gonna define one more attribute or method in the superclass. State Texas. Let me put state here. Population, maybe 5 million. And state has their own tax rates. For the subclass, I'm gonna have Dallas has its own tax rate. So I'm gonna define one more extra method for the superclass that the subclass is not gonna have. And I'm gonna define that as counties, string counties, and I'm gonna put Dallas as a county. And from the subclass, I'm gonna try to access the superclasses method. So I'm gonna create one driver class so that I can create object for that. I'm gonna name it driver. And here I'm gonna create an object for the subclass. And my subclass name is Texas. My object equals to new class name. And here now I'm gonna try and access the methods of the super and the subclass. First, my object dot, let me access the method of the subclass first. Since I'm creating an object for the subclass, I can directly access it. And I'm gonna access the cities, population, and tax collection, all of that. For the variables, I'm gonna put that in a sysout. Oh, sorry, I'm gonna have a main method here. I forgot to put that. Copy and paste, and put the variables in my sysout. My object dot, there's the cities, and my object dot population, and I'm going to call the method from the subclass, that is the tax collection, my object dot tax collection. And now I'm going to try and access the methods from the super class by using the super keyword. I'm just going to write it down here and put it in a sysout. Super dot, since the my super class has state and population and tax collection as the attributes and variables and method, my subclass has the same attributes, cities, population, and tax collection. So since the subclass and superclass has the same methods, I can just write super to access the method of the superclass. So I'm going to do super dot cities. I guess this should work. Dot, what's happening? Main method is not static. Oh, I think if I create, I'm not sure. Let me just do static here. Static. But if I create an object, I think I don't have to write static.
Yeah, like you don't need to put static if you are creating. Static comes
Yeah.
into picture when you are not creating object. Go to driver one.
Okay.
Okay, here this is your driver class. Then you have to create the object for subclass.
What did I do for Texas? Yeah, my Texas is my subclass, so I'm
Okay, okay,
extending it to
fine.
state.
Okay, city and population you have.
Yeah.
Check the variable names. Is it
Okay.
correct? Is it
Yes.
city?
Cities, population, and
Okay.
for the state, population. Oh no, here. Okay, I'm gonna name it the same. I'm sorry, I named it
Yeah, you can have
state.
same or you can have different. You can have few as same, few as different. That's fine.
Yeah, I was trying to access the same properties using the super keyword.
Yes, yes.
Yes, so super dot cities should be working. Let me see. Copy and paste. But why isn't it working? Let me save that.
No, no, it will not work here because this is your driver class, right?
Yeah.
See,
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm gonna
yeah,
access it from my subclass.
yes.
Yeah.
Super comes into
I'm just gonna
picture.
call the methods
Yeah,
here.
that's fine. That's fine. Okay. See, I suggest everyone do it. See, if you do it now, you will not forget it again because you are doing it right. That's why I
Yeah.
suggest everyone do like this, give demo so that it will stick to your mind. You will never forget it.
Okay, so now I'm gonna access the methods of the superclass and the subclass both from my subclass, that is Texas. Here, just below the tax collection method, let me access super dot cities. Should I think I should have, I don't need, I'm gonna create a method first and try and access it from the method public void, what should I name the method? Infer data? I don't know. I'm just gonna name it data for now. And I'm gonna try and put this here. Yeah, so now I can access super.cities. This should give me an output for the superclass's city name, that is Texas. So it should have Texas as my output. And I'm gonna access the subclass city, that is Dallas. And I'm gonna put it in the sysout. So I can just write cities here. This should give me Dallas as my output. And again, gonna access population. I think it is, yeah, population. And it should give me 1 million. And for the superclass, since I have the population variable in the superclass as well, I'm just gonna do super dot population. It suggested me here. And the population for the superclass, it's 5 million, so it should print out 5 million. And I'm gonna access the method as well, tax collection. I can just, I can just call the method here, tax collection. And for the method of the superclass, I'm gonna use super dot tax collection, and it should give the respective sysout for the methods. And from the driver class, I'm going to call the tax collections method and the data. So let me just get rid of these first. Let me call my object dot tax collection and data. Let me call the data. Object dot data. And for the output, it should give me Dallas, Texas, 1 million, 5 million. And then Dallas has its own tax rates and state has their own tax rates. Let me run this class. Yeah, and let me maximize it. Here, Dallas has its own tax rate is my collection tax collection method that's in the subclass tax collection. Dallas has its own rates, and Dallas is the city since I called the data method, and I call the cities from the superclass, so it printed Texas, and I'm printing the population that's in the Texas subclass. It's 1 million, and I printed the superclass's population that was 5 million, and I called the tax collection method of the subclass. So it printed Dallas has its own tax rates, and I called the tax collection method of the superclass, and it printed state has their own tax rates. So this is how we can access the attributes of the superclass. If both the attributes and methods are common in both sub and superclass, we can use the super keyboard to access. Just specify that we want to access some of the methods of the superclass. And if we want to access the methods of the subclass, we can directly do that because we're in the same class. And any confusion? I guess I explained it. Okay, now I'm going to explain the constructor. I'm going to create the class in the same project for now. I'm going to modify it in the same class if that's okay. Okay, I'm going to modify it in the same class. So I'm going to have all of the same methods and attributes here, but I'm going to create a constructor. So here I've created no argument constructor here. So I'm going to create the parameter constructor first and try and pass some values to the instantiated object. Let me create the constructor for the Texas subclass. I'm going to have my class name, Texas, bracket, curly braces. And just so that we can tell the subclass's constructor was called, I'm just going to put a sysout sub Texas subclass constructor call. And I'm going to do the same thing for the state. I'm going to create a constructor here, state, brackets, curly braces, and put a sysout state superclass constructor call. And since I'm going to create a parameterized constructor, I'm going to pass some values here. Let me pass population and cities, and also population, cities, and one more attribute. I'm gonna and counties, since this is one extra attribute in the state I have. So I'm gonna pass string cities. Okay, hold on. Can I create local variable cities? Let me try and pass the values instead of the variable. Houston, and here I'm gonna pass. What's the next one? It was integer, I guess. Population. Houston has population, okay, 10 million. I should be able to write the underscore here. I think Java supports the underscore for the numbers. And I'm gonna pass in the county for the Houston as Harris County. HRIS, I guess. Oh, I missed the double quotation. And in my super class, I'm gonna set the string Harish parameter that I've passed in the object, and I'm gonna have put some parameter in here too because it's a parameterized constructor. So I'm just gonna name it new county, and here, since this is a super class, I can I'm gonna set the new county value that I've passed from the object here, Harish. So I'm just gonna do this dot county is equals to new, hold on, what do I have here? State, oh, counties, I have counties. Counties is equals to new county. This is going to set whatever value I've passed in this parameter to the parameter here, and I'm going to set the county's value to whatever value's been passed in. And for the subclass, I'm going to do the same. Let me just, okay, string and cities and okay, new population. I'm going to do here new so that I don't get confused. And string new county. Let me see what's the error. There is no default constructor available in .com.state. String. Let me complete it and see. I don't know what it's saying. Insert super. Let me try and see what it's going to do. Oh, I just had to call the super method here. And I'm going to pass in. I can have super and this at the same time because they both have to be the first line of statement. So no, I'm gonna just do this, I guess. This dot. Where do I use it? I think hold on, I'm confused. Just a second. This is the subclass. I should use super here. This is okay, super. Sorry, but can you help me here? I'm confused with something. You can here. This should set the super. Nope. Prenames reference.
I think you should be using super in your Texas class.
Texas? Okay, I'm trying to access. Yeah, you're right. This is fine here. Okay. this is fine here. I'm gonna use super. Let's see. Super dot super. I'm gonna pass in new cities. This is not right.
Check the variable name. Yeah.
So new population, and I'm gonna set. That's right, population. Oh no, can I? Hold on, what's going on? New cities, and I want to set the population too. So set the counties here.
Yeah, you don't have a constructor that takes integer parameter, so that's why it's throwing an error.
Sorry, what were you saying?
State class, you don't have a. Yeah, go to the state class. Yeah, you don't have a constructor that takes integer parameter. That's why when you're trying to do super and then integer parameter, it's not taking it.
Okay, so I guess I might have to either rename one of the attributes, population. I might have to either make it string or integer as any one of the attribute. Is that what you're saying?
Can you go back to your Texas class?
Okay.
Yeah, and you can do super dot population now. Dot population. Yep, there we go. And then you can give it a value.
Parenthesis?
Sorry.
Did you mean to put it in a parenthesis like it did with the new cities?
No, actually, you should be able to set it like just do equals to and then.
Oh, okay. Super dot population is Mr. New population.
There we go.
But there's still some error in the driver. Expected that.
You don't need to put in string int and string when you pass an argument.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. And string ID. Okay. So here I passed in the new city, new population, new county. And from my superclass, I set the new county to the counties here. And in my subclass, I'm referring to the new cities of the superclass, and I'm setting the population here for the superclass attribute population. Let me try and call these methods and run and see. Yeah. So for the my object tax collection, let me go to my subclass. It printed out Dallas has its own tax rates, and I'm calling data method from the subclass, and the data had cities, and for the cities I got Dallas, and for the super cities I got Texas. What did I pass in Houston? It should be passing in Houston, I guess, since I'm setting. I've not set in any cities, have I? No. I should be doing the same for the cities too. Okay, let me run it now. It should give me Houston. Yeah. So I've got Houston here because it's set in Houston in my subclass here. Set the value that was passed in the driver class and set it to the cities, and I got 1 million and 10 million from the data method. Okay, this is for the city that was in the superclass, that was Houston, that I just passed in and set it. Population for the subclass is 1 million, because I've not set any population for the subclass, and I set the population uh, to the value that was passed in here, 10 million. In here, so I'm getting 10 million for the population. And again, I'm calling the tax collection method that had this is out respectively. I guess that is all for the super keyword for the constructor. And I guess I'm going to explain array list. I'm just going to create a new class. That's array list example. Here, I'm going to create an array list, like I instantiate an object. Let's create an object. So I'm going to write array list and specify the data type so that it checks the type of the data that's been passed in, or that contains in an array list. So maybe write string, and I have to import that from java.qt package. So I'm just going to do all of int is equals to a new array list string and brackets. Okay. Includes some extends object array list string is equal to a new array list string. Remove unnecessary semicolon. I think that's how we create the array list. I know class string extends object. Oh, is it okay? Let me have my method generate method and copy it because of that. Identify. Okay, what's going on? Please help me. I might have gotten the syntax wrong. Can I look at the syntax if it's okay? I think it's how we write it, but I'm just gonna look at the syntax first. Let me see.
You have to give it a name.
Oh yeah. Sorry guys. Okay, my arrays. I'm gonna name it my arrays. Or
It's not object name.
shall I put another?
Why there is disturbance in the audio? Just a minute, Ashma. Just a minute.
Okay.
Why is there is a lot of disturbance? Only Ashma is on, not on mute. Everybody is on mute. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So here I just created wrote the syntax for the array list like I would do for the object, and this is just my variable. And I'm going to add some names to my array. My names. I can use add and parentheses, and then I'm going to put some names here. Let me put some random names. John. And I'm going to put 5 names. So copy and paste 2, 3, 5. And I'm going to put that in Barsha. And I'm going to put sorry. So these are the names in my array list, and I'm going to try and print this out first before I access another some methods available So these are the names I just added in my names variable with the array list. Now I'm going to use some of the methods available in the collections framework. So I'm going to collections dot I am going to sort like yesterday we did yesterday. So sort let me just I think this is the one we did. Sort and I'm gonna have to pass in my variable. This is just gonna sort the names in alphabetical order. So I'm gonna put this out here. I'm just gonna send parentheses out so that it's easier here. And I'm gonna print the sorted names again. My name here and run it and see if it's sorted or not. See here it's sorted in the alphabetical order. Marsha, Benny, Sean, John, Sarika. Now I'm gonna try and remove any one of the names from the list. So I'm gonna do variable dot methods that I have from the provided in the framework I should have removed here. You can either put in the index as your parameter, or you can just write the name that's in the list to remove it. I'm gonna try and do the both. So let me first do the index one. Index, I'm just gonna provide two. It's gonna remove Ishan from the list. So let me do two and semicolon and then send this out so that I can see the new list. My names. And I'm again going to remove it by putting in the name itself. My names remove. I guess I should be able to do that. I'm putting the names it's gonna be in the okay. And I'm going to print this one too. My names. So in this one, it should remove Ishan, and from this line, it should be removing Sarika from the list. So we're gonna have only three elements in our final array. Yeah. So the first one removed Ishan, so I have Barsha, Ben, John, Sarika, and the last one I removed Sarika, so it had Barsha, Ben, and John. And I think this is for the array list. You can do the same for the set, but for if you use the set, you cannot have any duplicate values. I'm going to try and put some duplicate values in my list here and see if it's going to work. It should work because array list allows for the duplicate values to be inserted. So I'm just going to take it out for now. I'm going to copy and paste it later and just run it. So these are my duplicate lists that I just added. And now I'm going to write an example for the set. It is array, hold on, hash set and put the string type again. I can have any data. I think it only allows string type in the collection framework because yesterday when I tried to do the integer, it didn't allow me to do the integer. I might be wrong. But let me put animals names. Animals is equal to new string. And that I'm going to try and add some animals like I did to the array list. Animals dot add and I'm going to put down some animals names. what else? From the puppy. And I'm going to add some duplicate values here too. I'm just going to add puppy 2 more times. It shouldn't allow me to add any duplicate values for the set, so it's not going to print out the duplicate values. And I'm going to print the animals and run it. So here I have cat, dog, camel, cow, puppy. And I don't have any duplicate values because it does not allow duplicate values to be inserted. And now I think Sarika asked us to do about adding array to the array list. I tried to do that, so I'm just gonna write down a simple example to add arrays to the arrays list. I'm just gonna add an array to the already existing array list that is my names. So I'm just gonna get rid of this now. And I'm gonna create new array, a regular array. I'm gonna put, I cannot add string arrays list to the integer array, so the data type has to be the same. So string states, I'm gonna put down states, and I'm just gonna initialize my array here so it's easier. I'm gonna put Texas, Mississippi, California.
Ashna, just a
Yes,
minute.
sir.
Just a minute. I don't know why, but your audio is not clear.
I'm sorry.
Your audio is not clear. Your voice is not clear.
Oh, I actually,
Can you do one thing?
yeah.
You exit from the meeting, join again, then you share the screen.
Okay,
Okay.
I'll do that.
Yeah. I think it's the audio issue is not only for me, right? It's for everyone. The voice was not clear. Yeah, let's wait. I mean, how many of you are following her demo? Okay. Basha is following, Prashant is following, Ishan. Okay. See, I mean, okay. Is it Bashwar? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Yeah. Yeah, Bashwar, today is your first class, right? I'll talk with you later. Let Ashma continue the demo. Let's discuss later. Okay, Ashma, you can share your screen and continue your demo.
Okay, share content.
We can
Okay.
see your screen. Yeah.
Is my voice clear now?
Yeah, now it is clear.
Okay. It should be my connection. It happened yesterday as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, California, and I'm gonna add 2 more states here: New York and Seattle. So these are my arrays, states, and this is my array list, my names. So I'm gonna try and add the elements of states array to my names array list. I can do that by using one of the add-all methods in collections. Collections dot add all. And here first I'm going to pass in my array list because I want to add my array to my array list. So I'm gonna pass in my names here, and I'm gonna pass in my states array. So let me print it out. It should concatenate or add in the elements of the states array in my names array list. Let me have this up and print my names. Here. So I've added the elements of array to my array list by using add all method and passing in the array list and array as the parameter. I can do this from another method, another way as well. I just have to look it up once because I don't remember the syntax. I have it in my example here. Yeah, I can use this one. I'm just gonna copy and paste. This is different, my names, and add all arrays. Okay, let me import the java.util.arrays here. As list, I can add elements of arrays as list to the array list. I'm gonna browse to one link. It explains why I had to do the as list here. And I'm gonna pass in states as a parameter. This should do the same thing. It should add the elements of states array to the array list. I'm just gonna have this out so that I can differentiate the output. And I'm gonna print my names again. My names. Run. And okay, hold on. Oh, it did the I have double values here because I had already added states to my array list, so it's adding it again. So let me just comment out this line and the bottom one so that I don't have repeated addition of the states elements to the array list. If I run this, it should add the arrays elements to the array list. So here's John, Ben, Ishan, Barsha, Sarika, Ishan, Barsha, Sarika, Texas, Mississippi, California, New York, and Seattle. So this is how we can, these are two of the methods that I learned yesterday to add array to the array list. And I guess that is all. Did I miss anything? Hello?
Yeah, you are asking any question?
Yeah, if anybody has any questions that I can explain further, I guess.
Yeah, please, students, Ashma almost done with her demo. She explained everything. If anyone has any questions, please ask her. She's waiting for you.
I guess nobody has any questions.
Okay, seems everybody is 100% clear on everything. It was
Thank
very
you,
good.
Barsha.
Okay, fine. Let's take a minute to appreciate Ashma. Okay. That was a great demo from you, Ashma. I expect this
Thank
type of
you.
performance from everyone. I'm very happy with the way you explain and the way you understand the concepts. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. And next time it won't be Ashma. It should be somebody else. Okay. Next time I'll pick someone and I'll ask them to give demo. You know, when I was asking someone to give demo, I was expecting a reply from, I know, like, Ishan, are you people will reply. I was expecting you replied. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, that was great. I mean, you covered everything. Super keyword, array
Yeah, I
list.
was a little confused with the constructor. It just got over my head and I got confused. But I think other than that, I did okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Like, it happens. Like, I get confused sometimes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
shall I stop sharing now?
Sure.
Okay.
Stop sharing. I'll start my class.
Okay.
Okay. And Pushparanjan, you asked me some code yesterday. Sorry, like I'll be busy. If you text me, you get reply from me very less times. If anything urgent or important, feel free to call me. Okay. Like, by the way, I want to know, Pushparanjan, like, are you able to do it? I couldn't reply you.
Uh, yes, ma'am. All I need to like all your codes, to check mine with your code and then see the difference, like how am I doing?
Okay, so finally, are you able to do it?
A couple of them, like I started practicing the code from the previous classes like inheritance, encapsulations, abstractions, constructor, and then I got a couple of errors, so I was looking for your code to check it out. That's why I text
Okay.
you.
So what you did after that?
I did Google.
Yeah, that's what you have done. I was able to say the same thing. It depend on completely Google, it will help you, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, you will get everything in Google and let's keep see. From tomorrow, first 1 hour I'll teach you. Next 1 hour I'll help you. Whoever has any doubts or if you are stuck somewhere, take help from me. I'll
Yes, if
close
you
the
share your
class
code,
in first
that will be
1 hour.
great help for us,
What is
while
that?
practicing. If you share the code from the classes that you teach, that will be great help for us while practicing at home, I think.
Okay, no problem. I'll share the code or at least I'll share the screenshot.
Yes, ma'am. The screenshot is fine too.
Yeah, fine. Okay,
Thank
let
you.
me share my screen. Okay, so what's the difference between list and set? Okay, list and set, they belong to the collection framework. Collection framework is a data structure where we maintain data and where we do so many operations on data. In real-time programming world, when we start developing the web dynamic applications, you need to do so many operations on the data. So the Java has already developed certain data structures. It is providing the pre-existing classes and interfaces, which helps you to save your data and which helps you to perform different operations on your data. So you don't need to do anything from the scratch. You just use them. You can do any operations directly. And you can start the recording. Paris and Ashma both. You can start the recording. Yeah, Subhash is right. List allow duplicates. Yeah, list allows duplicates. List also provide the insertion order. Set does not preserve the insertion order. And set does not allow duplicates. Why the set is not allowing duplicates and how it is working internally and what is a map, all we discuss tomorrow. Okay, today we'll discuss how to save the object values inside a list. Okay, let me know once you start the recording. Let me open the paint screen. Okay, have you started? Okay, fine. Let me create a project. I think my voice is loud enough, right? My collection example. I'm just creating a project. Let me write a class. We were discussing on the list and set yesterday. And I also gave you some examples for creating the list and set. Let me quickly create a list and show you my list example. I just gave my package name and my class name and main. Because this is a standalone program, we need main. Okay, so let me quickly create a list. Okay, list is something where I want to save the values. Fine. Now, I want to save the values of the employee details. For example, I have employees and I want to save the employee names. For example, if I have 100 employees, I have to save the 100 employee names. For that, I have to create 100 variables. I don't need to do that. I can do that in a smart way using an array. But collection interface is again, it is more advanced than array. That's why I want to use the collection framework. Again, we remember the hierarchy of the collection framework. The root interface is iterable, and then we have collection, we have set, list, queue, all those things. So here I want to explain you about the array list. Okay, array list is a class which belongs to the collection framework hierarchy. Okay, I can create an object for the class. So let me just create. In this line, I am creating an array list. There is a purpose for creating the array list, and we know what is an array list and why we use an array list. How to create an array list? Simple. We did it yesterday. And somebody was asking me, is it mandatory to provide this angular brackets here? Yeah, it is mandatory. It is, they are called as generics. Okay. These angular brackets are called as generics. Why we use it? It provides type safety. Okay. You can actually create your array list without these brackets. Let me show you. Let me remove the bracket and let me just give the, so this is how we create the array list. And what should be the name of the list? Name of the list can be anything. It can be L or M or O, anything, but I want to give some meaningful name. So I'm giving the name as employee names list. Okay. See, I am maintaining your attendance every day. I am maintaining in an Excel sheet. I name the Excel sheet as attendance because I have to give the proper meaningful name. Otherwise, I have hundreds of Excels in my machine. How will I find out where I saved your attendance? Okay. So for in the same way, for this list, I have to give some name. I want to save the employee name, so I'm just giving as employee names list. How we create object? We create using the new operator. Then again class name, array list. Okay, it is giving error because I'm using a class. I am creating object of class, which is present in the different package. We know if you want to access the properties of another class, which is present in the different package, you have to import it. I just imported it. Now it's working. I did not give angular brackets after this, but still it is not giving error. You know why? Because syntactically it is correct. There are many ways you can do one thing in Java, but still you choose the easy thing, flexible thing. Correct? Okay. So now if I don't give, let me try to add. So I created the list. Let me try to add the values. So employee names are string values. So I am adding employee name. I am giving this, I am providing string values here. Now let me add some integer here. Okay. But why it is not giving error to me? Employee name must be string, right? But I am adding 100 here. Still it is accepting. Okay. Let me add something else. Let me add salary here. For example, let me add $5,789. That's 56. I added float value. Still it is not giving error. Okay, let me add care value. I'm a female, so I'm just writing F. It is not giving any error. So let me try to print this list. I am just printing this list. Let me check the output. Okay. Any expectation on the output? Just tell me what output you are expecting. You have to be quick. It is already 11. Okay. What is the output? No one? Okay. Only one people. Let me just run it. It's accepting the values. It is working, but still, do you think is it correct? Because I created employee names list, I am naming it as names. I'm creating employee names list just to add the employee name values. For example, I started writing this program. Okay, after few days, for example, let's say after a few days, Pushpa Ranjan joined my team. He started working on my code and he saw this array list and he started adding the values. So he is able to add any values like this. But ideally, I created this array list only to save the employee name list, employee names. But this is something which is maybe syntactically correct, but logically this is wrong. So is there any way to prevent this? I should prevent adding any values to my list. I should allow only string values. Yeah. So for that, we have to mention here using the angular brackets as string. So that means we are restricting the values to only string values. Okay. See, we got the error immediately. Can you see the error here? So that's why whatever is inside the angular brackets is called generics. They are called generics. It provides us the type safety. So it is giving error at the compile time itself. You are not even running the program. Before only it's giving error, it is alerting you. So if I could make it a string and give my code to Pushparanjan, when he tries to add these values, it gives an error. So he will get an alert. Okay. He'll think that, okay, something is wrong. It's giving me error. And he'll check the code. He'll understand that, okay, this is for the employee names. I have to add only string values. Then he will correct this code. Is that clear? I don't know. Sunil or Subhash, somebody asked me this doubt. Okay, I think that is clear now. Okay, let me run it now. Now it is syntactically correct, logically correct. I got the output. Okay, so both are correct, and this one is correct, and this is also correct. This is correct. The down one is. Both are correct. Both are the correct way of creating array list, but this one provides type safety. Which type of values you are saying? It provides the safety for that. Okay. Can we define a string and int integer the angular brackets? You mean like this? You mean like this? We don't give int. We have to give integer. If you want to give int, you have to give integer. You cannot. It is giving error. You know why? Because array list you can say values linearly, single value. See, for example, let me save my screen. Can you see my paint? Okay. So I created array list and my values are saved like this. And it is dynamically grown. You can add any number of values. So for your value, only one block of memory is associated. So how can you save two values here? It is just a block. You can save, you can give like this. You can give string comma integer in map, not in the list. Array list belongs to the list. Okay. We have so many things in collection framework. We have list, we have set, we have queue, and we have map. But remember, map does not belong to collection framework. But we use that in the collection framework, but it actually does not belong to the collection framework hierarchy. When I showed you the collection framework hierarchy, did you see map anywhere? Let me open it again for you. I think you cannot see my screen, right? Let me share. Okay. Okay, this is the collection framework hierarchy. Just tell me, can you see map anywhere here? Remember, map doesn't belong to the collection framework hierarchy, but we still use it in the internal implementation. Map is something different. It is not in this hierarchy. Remember, only inside collection framework hierarchy, you have list, queue, set, and the respective classes. Okay, map is not here, but map use, I will explain you. In the map, you will have like this. In list, we are saving the values directly. Okay, but in map, it saves the values as key value pairs. Inside the map, we will have, inside one block, we will have the key value pairs. Okay, we will have two blocks. One place we save key, and for the another block, we save the value. I'll explain you what is a key and what is a value. So for set or list, you can give only one here. Okay. So this is which list? This is the employee names list, which is of type string. Okay. My question, can I create a list which is of type integer? What about others? Only two people are replying. Of course, yes. We did that yesterday, right? It gave me an error. Why it gives? Let me show you right now. It will not give any error. Just give me the integer. I want to create a list which is of type integer. Employee. Let me give employee ID list. See, it's not giving any error. You have to rename the Okay, don't put int. Remember, we will put int everywhere, but they have made it syntactically or as integer, so just give as integer. If you get any error anytime, don't just stop it. Go to Google, type your error, you will get lot of code. Okay, I created the list and it is the same again. It is just add, you can add any integer values. Okay, this we did yesterday, and if you want to print, we will just give this list name. We are just printing it. I also told you how to sort the elements. These are all the elements of employee names list. If I want to sort, what I have to do, I have to use collections dot sort. See, I have this. I am telling this list I have and sort it, then give me the result. Okay, let me write a message here. List after sorting. Which list I am sorting? I am sorting the employee names list. So I am saying this list I got after sorting. Okay. Okay. And what is this slash n? Anyone know what is this slash n? It is just for the new line. If you give slash n in the first of it, these will be divided. These will be displayed in the two different lines. Next line. This refers to the next line. And this plus symbol we use for the concatenation. I know the plus everybody knows. Okay. Fine. Now I want to sort employee ID list also. Let me put it here, employee names list before sorting. Okay, this is before sorting. Here again, I want to give the slash and I can give that. Let me put this here, employee ID list before sorting. Again, I want to give slash in. Then I want to sort it. Then I want to print after sorting. Am I fast? Tell me. I want to sort employee ID list. How can I sort here? What I have to write here? I want to sort employee ID list. How can I sort it? Correct. Simple. Collections dot collection interface is providing you one sort method. You just use the method. That's it. You don't need to do anything on your own. I'm just using this sort method which belongs to this interface, and I'm just printing this one. Okay. This
Sarika,
yeah.
I have a question. Like, can you delete the entire list using the collections dot remove, or can you just only remove an item or the
Okay.
element?
I will do that after this. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Let me just run it. So I should get the list after sorting and before sorting. Please, okay. Please observe. We have two lists. One is of string type. One is of integer type. How the sort is happening? For the string list, the sort is happening according to the alphabetical order. Okay. For integer, it happens in the increasing, ascending order. So the sorting works fine with the both. Like it takes care of the sorting. Like though it is of string or integer, double or float, this sort method takes care of it. Okay. So let me just, because we are mentioning it here, we are mentioning the type of the list. So with this, the sort method will take care of it. Okay. So let me just run it. Okay. See, this is before sorting. These are not sorted. Okay. My name was first before sorting, but after sorting, I went last because my name is starting with S. The names are sorted with the ascending order. Let's see the list before sorting. I gave in the order, so it is same even after sorting. Okay. Otherwise, let me just give them. Let me just give in the unsorted order. Okay. Let's see now. Let's see whether they get sorted. See, this is before the sorting. This is after the sorting. Everybody clear till here? I told you that you have to implement different methods. You have to try on your own. If you are doing that, I suggest everyone please do that. Okay, so Ashma asked me to try removing. Let me remove. So from employee ID list, you want me to remove single element or remove everything?
I want to remove the entire list.
Okay, let me put remove all and let me put the list name. Okay, now I am removing everything from this list. Let me print the list after removing. I should get the empty list. Please go on mute. Like you can unmute when you are talking with me. Okay, this is after removing. Let me just print it. See, I got the empty list after removing. If I use remove all, it removes all elements. If I use remove, it removes a single element. Is it clear? Okay, fine. So I have a question here. For example, inside the list, I am just adding the string values in this list. And in this list, I am just adding the integer value. This is very straightforward and this is clear. Like whatever list I am creating is of type string. And the second list I am creating is of type string. Is there any way I want to create the array list which is of type an object? Did you remember bean? We were creating the bean. In, for example, let me open new paint. Okay. Did you remember bean? We were creating the bean class, which is of, for example, we created student class where we declared some private fields, student ID, private int. We created fields like this and percentage. Then we imported setters and getters. We created a student class which has a private field. Then we added setters and getters. And from another methods, we are just using these values with the setters and getters. Did you remember it or you forgot it? Can you see my screen? Okay, so now what I want to do is instead of see, for example, I have a doubt. Now I want to save all these values inside a list. So do I have to create three lists? One list is for the student ID list, student name list, and student percentage list. Do I need to create the three list and save the values? How many lists I have to create here? How many lists I have to create? No answer. Okay, can I do something like this? Instead of mentioning string or see, if I have to create the student ID list, I have to mention integer here. Okay, for student name I have to mention string here. For student percentage I have to mention float here. So instead of this, can I do something like this, student, and save all the values? And shall I mention like instead of student ID list, student name list, student person list, I am just mentioning it student list. So can I do something like this? So this specifies that the student list, it doesn't belong to string or int or float. It belongs to a object which is of type student. So here we are creating array list of type. What type? String? No. Int? No. Object. This is correct. Shall I try that one? This is little complicated. You have to pay your full attention. Okay. So let me, so what is the first step? Now I want to create a class, bean class with these fields. Then I want to create an array list. Fill this. Now my array list is empty. I want to fill this array list with these values. So what's my first step? Let's write down the steps one by one. What is the first step I have to take care? You have to be quick. What is the first step I have to take care? My aim is I want to save the student object values inside a list. So the first step is create a bean class. Yes or no? First I should have this. Okay? Then create student class. Student driver class. Anything. Like need it something else than the bean. Okay? From here. So in which class you will create the array list? In which class you will create the array list? No, you will not create the array list in the bean class. You will create array list in the second class. I mean driver or whatever you name the second class. Yeah, driver or anything. Okay, after creating the array list, we have to populate the values. I mean you have to fill the values, right? Then print the values. If you want to implement sort, it's fine. Sort the values, then print the values. So shall we go step by step? Okay, before I am going ahead, I am trying to explain you that I am creating a array list of type object. This is the first time we are going to do. So first step is create a bean class. Let me create a bean class. Shall I do for the student or you want me to do for anything else? Student or book or employee or library? Okay, you can tell me. Okay, let's not keep it for student. Let's do it for the cars. Okay, fine. Let's do it for the car. So let me just quickly create a new project. Let me create my car Mela project. Anything. Okay, you have to tell me the properties of the cars. Okay, I know like the boys are most interested towards cars. Let me create a bean class. Bean class we create generally. Bean class is a class, so we usually create it normally. Okay, car com dot cubic. Okay, let me, this is a bean class. This will not have main method because we don't want to run it. Bean class we use as a reference. So this is a bean class where you will have private fields and setters and getters. The main purpose of writing this is this provides the encapsulation. You declare the private fields here, access them using the setters and getters. Okay, so that's why we don't create main here. So just tell me some fields for the car. Car will have a name, right? And it has to be private string car. And what else? Okay, name, color, VIN. Okay, private. Oh, VIN is the number, right? Model. Okay, let me write the model. Okay, int VIN. Let's make them as different. One string is done, one int is done. Okay. Okay, let's take one more price. Okay, float price. This is perfect. Okay. So now, what is my next step? I created a bean, but I have not yet finished creating the bean. After creating the private fields, what I have to do? VIN, see, if you want to make it as a constant, you cannot change the value of it. But here, we are populating the value from different class. If you want to make it as a constant, you can make it as final. This becomes constant. Okay. But don't want to make it as a constant at this point. It can be anything. Okay. So my setters or getters not yet defined. How can I define the setters and getters? Everybody forgot? If you want to create the setters and getters, right click, source, generate setters and getters. I want to generate for all. I am selecting for all. If you don't remember, that means you're not practicing. Okay. So I created the private fields, and there is a reason for creating the setters and getters. If I don't create the setters and getters, these fields are not visible anywhere. I want to make them visible. That's why I created the setters and getters. I am done. My bean class is done. What is the next step? Next step is the driver class. Okay. Let me create list class or driver class. You can call it as anything. My card list class, because I want to create a list here. So shall I select this main checkbox? Okay. Okay. I created the class. Now, fine. So I want to establish the link between them. It is not the inheritance. Don't think in that point of view. I have a bean class. I want to create the object for this class so that I can save these values inside the list. Let me create the array list first. Okay. Shall I create the array list? Okay. We create the array list. Array list, and which type? What type I have to mention inside this?
Car.
Correct. Cars list. It is just the list name. This is just the list name. Okay. And equal to new. Again here same thing. Car. This is very important. Again, after my class, if you start practicing, don't say that I got errors. You will get errors if you don't give car here. Okay. Fine. But what I have to add into this list? Oh, okay. How can I add the values here? Anyone has any idea?
This is
Shall I just click on the list dot add?
Car list.
Okay, let me just, okay, add. You mean like this? Okay, but what I have to add inside this? You have three fields. So what I have to add inside this?
Give the three fields separated by
Okay.
comma.
Okay, just tell me three values. First is string, second one is VIN, then price. Just tell me some values. I'm going to add it. Okay. And what about the VIN and price?
Win number is usually long.
You can ping me.
00015.
Okay, is that a VIN? Okay, second one is the VIN, and then the third one is price. Price is again in the dollars, so let me give the price as some $25,000. Okay. Okay, we gave int. So in that case, like if your field is a combination of letters and the numbers, then you have to give the string. String takes this value as it is. So for that, let's assume to give that number in an integer format. Okay. Let's adjust with this at this moment because we want to check the sorting. What is okay? This is again float. Okay, let me make the $67. Now it is working. Why it is giving error again? Okay, but still it is not allowing me. What I have to, the problem. You have to understand one problem here. The car is a different class. Okay, I am creating a car list. But do you see any relationship between this car class and this one here? See, here I am trying to access the properties of. Okay, first let me explain you. This is the array list. I created the array list. For creating the array list, I created the object first. I created the object, then I created the array list. In the same way, if you want to use this car, do you need to create the object or not? For float, if you mention if that is fine, Ashma. Here it is accepting. But it is just to, what happens internally. If you don't mention F, there is a chance that your value gets saved as double. So if you mention F, it will be 100% clear that your value will be saved as float. So that is the difference. Okay, now try to understand. It is giving error because you are trying to add this, create an object for this car. At the same time, you want to populate the values. But where you are creating the object of the car? Do you see anywhere are we creating the object of the car? So first you have to create the object. So you forget about the adding for this moment. You forget about this and let's first create the object. So how many values you want to add? How many car values? For example, let's assume that you want to add 3 values. So let me create 3 objects. RC1 is equal to new car. Here we have to give the values. Okay. What was the values? Hyundai. And what was the second value? Some number. And the third value is the float value. Okay. Fine. Why it is giving error again? Okay. You tell me, like, this is very interesting. You tell me why I'm getting error again. What happens when you create an object? What happens when you create an object? Important. Here I am creating object and this is not the class which is defined in the JVM. This is the class which I created. Correct. When you create the class, the constructor gets invoked. But here we are passing the parameters. That means we should have the parameterized constructor here. Do we have the parameterized constructor here? Do we have? Okay. So we have to define the constructor. Let me right click. Source. Generate constructor using fields. Okay, you have to select the field, then you generate. We want a parameterized constructor. Okay, see, my constructor got generated. Can you see my constructor? This is the first statement inside a constructor. What it does? What super does? Tell me. What it does? It calls superclass constructor. This is the default first value of inside a constructor and it calls a superclass constructor. Okay. So now my error will be gone. Why it is giving me error again? I am passing the values. String int float. String int okay. Okay, that's why. But it should support, right? No, that is not the problem. Change the constructor to string int float. Okay. This I have to mention name. Okay, now the error is gone. It was referring to the double. I have to mention f because I am saving a f value. Okay. So this value will, when I create the object, my constructor gets called and all those values which I am passing, understand. I am creating an object, but this object is null now. If I print this object, I will not get anything. I want to give some values to the object. If you want to give some values to the object, constructor comes into picture. I told you constructor is used to constructors job is to initialize object. That means gives values to the object. Now I have values. Okay, these are my values and this is my object. Now they are independent. These values are not belong to my object. Who have to link both of them? Constructor is the one who links these values to my object. So when I create this object, this constructor gets called. Here I am setting the values to the object. I always told you this always refers to the current object which is acting upon particular block. So when I come here, my object C1 comes here. My C1 will be given all these values. I am setting these values to my object. Okay. So how many values my object have now? These three values it has, correct? Yes or no? Okay. So what if I want to, okay, how many values my car object have now? One set of values. I mean one set of values, that means three values. So if I want to populate one more time, can I create one more object? Yes or no? Yeah. So let me create one more object in the same way. Now just tell me the values for another car object. I want to do it 3-4 times. So let just tell me values car C3. I'm just creating 4 different objects. Car C4. Okay, just tell me different values. Here, let me just give some random number. I'm just giving, let me give the, okay. Okay, I think, okay, let me just give the different car values. Amazon, D, Toyota. Okay, okay. So now I created 4 objects. Don't confuse with this list and these are objects. Okay, this is the array list. Okay, this is. Let me write it in the pen. I'll write it in the array list. Any confusion with this? This is just array list and my list is empty for now. My list is empty. And these are just 4 objects which I am creating. When I create this object, my constructor gets called, giving the values to my object. Thereby, my car will have all the values now. So now, I want to add these objects to my array cars list. Can I do that? Can I do that? Okay. How can I add? Simple. Car list dot add even. That's it. If I want to add 4 of them, this is how we add the object values inside a list. See, if you want to add the car names, you could have given string directly here. Then car names dot add Hyundai, Toyota, Audi, Nissan, you give directly here. But here we are trying to add the object, not the values. That's why we are doing this much. Can we do multiple addition in a single statement? I think you can do, but not you can do with the Java 8. Okay, let's focus on this basic thing because most of the students are new. Okay, fine. Now I want to print my cars list. Okay, did you try for each loop, for loop, all those things for populating through a list? How many of you tried the for each loop? Okay, so let me just run it. I should get the cars list with all these values. I'm just running it. See, I got the output. Okay, but see the problem. I am printing a list which is of type object. Inside list, I am saving the values which is of type car object. That's why whatever I got the output is in the object format. So, is there any solution for this? Can you see this? I got the output in the object format. And but tell me one answer. Why I got output like this? Earlier I was getting the output normally. What is the reason? I got the output in the object format because, yeah, whatever values I am saving is in the is in the form of object. Okay, it is not a straightforward value. So if I want to get the values normally, just like, yes, just like the constructor and getters and setters, I have to import one more thing. You have to convert this output to the toString. You have to convert it to the programmer readable format. So I will just right click. I will just click on source. Where is my source? And let me just click on generate toString. Okay. I don't know like what every time I generate, it directly gets generated here. Let me copy it here. So can you see this? You don't need to remember anything. So whenever this method gets called, it will give you the respective values instead of the object value. You don't need to remember anything. Just remember that you are calling, you are importing the toString method. Okay. Now let me try the output. Earlier output was this. Now let me try the output after adding toString. Can you see this now? I got the output properly because I am converting it. Okay. So when you save the object type of values inside a list, it gets saved like this. These are all the values and this is the object reference type. These are all the values and we have the values inside it. So this is how we add object values inside a list. For that, first you have to create a list. Then you create the objects. Then you add it. You know, we can do in one more way. So instead of creating list, can I try something like this? Can I give it here? But it is giving me error. Okay, I can do it in one more way. Just a minute. Yesterday I pinged you one link. How many of you followed that? No, I can do it here. Yeah, I got it. Instead of creating the object, instead of this line, I can do like this. Whatever C1 is there, I can add it here directly. Just a minute. See, both are same. Just try to understand it. Observe it and try to understand it. Where is my meeting window? Okay, sorry, I was on mute. So can you see this? Like instead of creating variable, what you can do? You don't create the variable. You directly create the object when you are adding itself. You can do like this also. Both are absolutely fine. It's the same with the remaining also. You don't need to create the remaining. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you are doing this 4 times, right? You are doing this 4 times. So you can just comment everything. I'm just commenting everything. And I can give the values directly here itself. Both are 100% correct. It is just another way. So any confusion with this? Here you are creating the object, calling the constructor, then you are adding that object to the list. Instead of this, while adding to the list itself, you create object. This also invokes the constructor. For invoking the constructor, you just need to give new and call the constructor, right? So both are absolutely fine. So is it clear? Are you following? Okay, fine. Okay, this is just another way. Okay. Okay. So now I have a question. I want to sort these values. How can I do that? I'm printing the values, it's fine. But can you use the collections dot sort? Let me try it. Let me do collections dot sort list. Okay. My list name is cars list. Also, I'm just giving the cars list. But why it is giving error to me? It is saying me that this sort method is not applicable to object type. Car is a object type. This sort method is not applicable to that. In this place of car, if you have string or integer, it is available to the primitive types. But this object, it is not available. So how can I sort the elements? So for array list, you have something called comparable interface. Okay? Comparable interface. For sorting array list, you have to implement comparable interface in which you have compare to method. Okay, this is the interface name, and let me just, and this is the interface name, this is the method. But why this is all coming into picture? Why can't I sort directly? You know what is the reason? Because you have multiple values. If I ask you to sort this value, how can you sort it? Your list is a combination of string, integer, and float. If your list contains similar type elements, it will directly sort the elements. But when it is a combination of multiple elements, you cannot sort it directly. So for that, you know what you have to use? You have to use comparable interface. So now I have two classes. Which class has to implement the comparable interface, car or this one? The second class. Which class has to implement the comparable interface? Car class has to implement, because this is where we have all the values. This is where we have to use the comparable interface. So here we will write implements. You know, when you are using an interface, you have to use implements, right? Implement comparable. This again here you have to provide the type safety, so I'm just giving the object type as car. Okay, so your car, whatever your class, has to implement the comparable interface. Why this comparable is coming into picture? Because I want to sort my elements. Are you following? Is this okay? If I teach this comparable today, this is fine, right? I'm just teaching comparable so that you will know how to sort the elements. Let me check the messages. I'm getting messages in the chat. Because we have data types in the object. Okay. So I'm assuming that you are paying attention. It is giving error because you are implementing an interface. But if you are implementing an interface, you have to override certain methods. That is the rule of the interface. So let me just click it, add unimplemented method. Let me just click it. So I got the method down. I got the compare to method because I want to compare two of them. Like two values comes here every time and I have to compare with them. Okay. So now you tell me, I have string type, integer, float. So which values you want to compare? Shall I compare the VIN? Shall I compare the name? Okay, so which values? Okay, VIN. Let me compare the VIN value. Okay. So for that, what you have to do here is, here whatever object we get belongs to the car. Let me take the, instead of R0, let me rename the object as C. Okay, and it has to return me something. It has to return me, okay, first I have to get here, VIN is of integer type, right? Int new VIN equal to C dot get VIN. Okay, this gives me which value? This gives me new VIN value. I mean, whatever the VIN coming from different class, right? This method gets called when you are comparing two VINs. For example, if you have the 10 VINs, how it compares? It will compare one by one, right? And what is a small one? It gets printed according to ascending or descending. Okay, I know it will take little time for you to understand. This is so much I understand, but try to focus. Okay, so in this method, we have to compare the two VIN values. Fine. So here I have to get the VIN, then I have to return this dot VIN, this dot VIN, with new VIN. Okay, so this gives me this returns sorted value, and this is for ascending, in ascending order. If you want to do the sorting in the descending order, you have to give return new VIN this dot VIN. Okay, this is for descending. I'm just commenting it because inside a method you can have only one return method, one return statement. This is for descending. This is for DSC, descending. Okay, so now I have to call this compare method, right? Then only it gets called. Okay, let me just give you one link. How many of you gone through the link which I gave you yesterday? It was helpful, right? Okay. Now let me write the collections.sort. Will it work or not? Today also I'll give you one link that has lot of information. Let me try to give this. You know, it is not giving error now. It was giving error before. Why it is not giving any error? Because now I have compared to method. In compared to method, I am clearly informing them that compare only the VIN values. So when I call the collection sort, it doesn't have any confusion. If I give multiple values and ask it to compare, it will have confusion because I have values which belong to different data types. But in the compare to method, I am clearly mentioning comparing only the VIN values. So it will not have any confusion. So let me just try to print. Okay, after sorting. I want to print the values after sorting. I want to print them in a new line. So cards list. Okay, shall I run it? Shall I run it? Okay, any expectation on the output? How I get the output? Which values will be sorted? VIN values. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, in all the VINs I have 6 digits. So let's see whether they are printed according to the sorting or not. Okay. Is there any difference? Were they sorted before? Why it is printing the same? Let me give some, otherwise let me give the sorted values like this. Let me, okay. Now let's see. Now it will be very much clear. Okay, can you see it now? Here that the output is same because it is in the sorted value. Here it is changed. So that means we are informing the program to print the values at the same time, sort them. Which value to sort, you have to inform it. You have to inform with the compare to method. See, this is same because it is the highest value. It gets printed lastly. So did you understand it? This is how. If I ask you how you achieve sorting in array list, what is your answer? How you sort the element in array list? You have to say using comparable interface, and we will override the compare to method. Same thing. For example, if I want to do it for, let me comment it. If I want to do it for the names, the car name, what changes I have to make here? Let me simply comment it. I want to do it for the car names. Okay. So can I write string here? Let me, okay, sorry, this always returns 0, -1, 1. That's why always it is int. You forget about it. We'll discuss about it later. So let me just say, new name equal to c dot get car name. Okay, we want to compare the car names. Okay, return new name this dot warning. Okay, okay, this dot I think get warning, because this is, it will be little different for the string. My god, why it is going like that? Okay, let's see why it is giving me this. Just a minute. Is undefined for the argument type string. This dot, but it will not. Will this work? No. True string. Okay, let me just check here. We are just using in the compare to, right? Compare to. Okay, here they are comparing the ID. So let me just check for the string. Employee name. It's okay. See here they are comparing with the name. And they are passing the two values, but this is a comparator. No, I want to compare comparable. I want. Okay, this is in the comparable and compare to method. Okay, how to compare? Let me just check. How to compare string values in compare to method. This is compare to only, right? Compare to method, comparing two string. Okay, I just want this one. An array list. We want to be, it is just giving me the normal values. I want in array list. Okay, I want to check this inside a array list. Overriding the compare to method. Okay, department. O dot get department. Okay. But this still gives me error because I have to use this one. Get department, get department. I think this is the string. Okay, we have to use the comparator. Okay, I'll check this. I'll check this and I'll ping the code in the group. Okay. So now for VIN, it's working. Any doubts so far? Anyone has any doubts? Okay. This comparing for the string, I'll check and I'll let you know. Let me. But how many of you are going to try this at home today? So apart from this comparing with string values, anyone has any doubts? Okay, you have to practice this today, you know, like if you don't practice, again you will be so much confused. You won't be able to follow the classes. I know, like this is just too much, this is not easy, but the only way to understand is practicing. Okay, fine, okay, let me take the screenshot or let me take the attendance. You can stop the recording.